Joe Khalil live at the White House. So, Joe, where do things stand this Labor Day?
Well, the White House has made very clear that this crime crackdown is certainly not going to stop in Washington, D.C., that it is clearly just the beginning. And what Kristi Noem just said in your intro, Nichole, is exactly just another piece of evidence pointing in that direction. Today is an important benchmark day in this process because several White House officials have talked about how after the Labor Day holiday, that is when the White House is really going to ramp up its efforts to try to put federal intervention into several cities around the country, not just here in Washington, D.C., but something akin to what we've seen here in the nation's capital in other places as well. Take a listen to Tom Homan, President Trump's border czar, who was just one of a chorus of White House officials that have made this promise. Here's what he said.
You're going to see a ramp up of operations in New York. You're going to see a ramp up of operations continue in L.A. And, Portland, Seattle. I mean, all these sanctuary cities that refuse to work with ICE, where we know public safety threats are being released every day into this country, especially those cities, we're going to address that.
So because he mentioned ICE specifically, we're not exactly clear what it's going to look like. Is it going to mirror Washington, D.C., where you've got National Guard and federal agents and ICE on the ground, or is it something more of a hybrid of one or two of those entities? We're not sure. But what we do know is that here in the nation's capital, President Trump continues to tout the success of the surge in resources here. And he also says that this is something he feels can be replicated in places like Chicago and others. Take a look at what he posted here on Truth Social over the weekend, saying that Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C., the mayor, has become very popular because she worked with me and my great people in bringing crime down to virtually nothing. Her statements and actions were positive instead of others like Pritzker, Westmore, and Newsom there, Governor Newsom, and the 5% approval rated mayor of Chicago, who spends all of their time working to justify violent crime instead of working with us to eliminate it, which we have done in Washington, D.C. Now, Mayor Bowser, we were there when she held this press conference last week here, and she did tout the fact that this surge is working to reduce violent crime in Washington, D.C. She talked about carjackings and homicides and robberies and violent crime more generally. She did, however, draw a line at masked ICE agents, which she says is a problem for residents who live in D.C. who do not want to see that kind of policing in the district. Take a listen.
What we know is not working is a break in trust between police and community, especially with new federal partners in our community. We know having masked ICE agents in the community has not worked, and National Guards from other states has not been an efficient use of those resources.
But again, she was very complimentary of the federal surge and talked about all of the ways that she sees it actually working in the district. Meantime, the White House has not put out its updated crime stats today for Washington, D.C. It's typically a daily occurrence. Nichole, could just be virtue of the fact that we are on a federal holiday today.
Of course, we're on the holiday today. Congress returns to Capitol Hill tomorrow. There's a little more than a week left of the president's 30-day takeover of police there before that expires. How do you expect lawmakers to take up that issue?
So there's a couple of different fronts. We do know that there is going to be a hearing on Capitol Hill featuring Mayor Bowser from D.C. as well as the district's attorney general. There is also this extra piece that President Trump has talked about. He wants to ask Congress for $2 billion to be appropriated to clean up D.C., to make it a place that is, the old infrastructure replaced with newer street signs and grass and all of that. I'm not sure that that is fully fleshed out yet. I've been talking to congressional sources. There is this DOJ push, this over the last couple of months, try to save money. So there's a question of whether this is going to be a worthy $2 billion that Republicans in Congress would be willing to give up. But we're going to see very soon how that plays out when they return tomorrow.
We will see. All right, Joe Khalil, live for us there at the White House. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.